What's up, everybody? Alvaro here from Alvaro Barrios Digital, and here we are. The dreaded iOS 14.5 update is here, and now we're entering a brave new world in terms of how to run and optimize Facebook ads. So one thing I want to make super clear, just because this is here, it does not mean in any way, shape, or form that Facebook ads will no longer be effective. They will still be extremely effective, more effective than any other platform out there, in my opinion. But that being said, the way we run them and the way we interpret the data, more importantly, is going to change drastically moving forward, and we will have to take a few extra steps in order to understand the full picture, because with this update, what we see inside of Ads Manager won't be the full truth. So just as a very simple example, let's just say you're running a very simple lead generation campaign, and inside of Facebook Ads Manager it says you have 5 conversions for the day, but maybe in reality you have 10. So if you go inside of your CRM and you see a total 10, but it's only saying 5 inside of Facebook, it's because of the loss of data that we're experiencing with iOS 14.5. So that means we need to be looking at multiple tools and platforms in order to understand what is actually going on with our campaigns, as again, what we see inside of Ads Manager won't be the complete picture. So definitely always be utilizing your back end, making sure that you're looking at your CRM tool or your email tool, whatever it is that you're using, and see where the leads are coming in from, the purchases, whatever it might be. I would recommend having a tracking spreadsheet that can log everything on a day-to-day basis. That way you actually know what the true numbers are. But in addition to all this, I'm actually going to recommend a tool that is not only free, I can guarantee you that you are familiar with this tool and that you've actually used it at one point in time. It's just been a very, very long time since you've used it, and actually probably in most cases it's been years since you've used it. And I'm actually talking about Google Analytics, right? With Google Analytics, what usually happens with everyone that has ever used that is that they create their website, right, for the very first time, install Google Analytics on it simply because that's what everybody says. They install it once, they log in once, and then that's it. And you never go back to checking your Google Analytics account ever again. So everyone has all these Google Analytics accounts that just been sitting there collecting data for years and years and years. Now it's time to go back into that account and start utilizing Google Analytics in conjunction with your Facebook ads. So previously in the past, I would have said that Google Analytics use along with Facebook ads was optional, but now I'm actually telling everyone it's mandatory. You really need to be using Google Analytics to understand your Facebook ads data better because, again, of this whole iOS 14 update. What I want you to do is go inside, just refresh, make sure you can still get into your Google Analytics account and start utilizing it. But before you start utilizing it, there are a couple steps you need to take, because it's not like it's just you're gonna jump in there and it's gonna know what your Facebook ad campaigns are and what your conversions are and all that kind of stuff. You still have to put in a little bit of work to make sure that the data you're getting back makes sense to you. When you log in to your Google Analytics account, you want to go into the bottom left corner where it says admin, and in admin then you're going to go to a different page and you're going to see 3 columns, and on the right column there's an option that says goals. Goals is the same thing as conversions, right? So we always say conversions in Facebook. That can be a lead, that can be a purchase. It's just the lingo that we use in the Facebook world, but in the Google Analytics world they call them goals. And then you're going to go in there and you're going to define what your conversion events are, again, whether they're a free opt-in to something or a purchase, and you're going to create them just like you would as a custom conversion inside of Facebook, right? So it's going to be a URL based parameter, meaning, right, when people reach this specific thank you page or purchase confirmation page, that counts as a conversion or a goal in this case. So you have to define that for Google Analytics so that I can start tracking that information for you. But then once you have all that set up, you also want to create UTM parameters. Now, what the heck are UTM parameters? You may have seen them before. If you ever click on a link and it's got like this long chain of what it seems like code at the very end of it, those are UTM parameters. And all they do is that they feed better data into Google Analytics. Because while Google Analytics can collect data automatically, it is a little bit funky in the way it sometimes does it. So we want to clean it up and make sure that everything that we're feeding Google Analytics from our Facebook campaigns is clean and is coming out exactly the way we want it to. So for these UTM parameters, you have to define things like the campaign term, or in this case, it could be the audience that you're going after, and a couple other items that helps you differentiate, one campaign and one ad from another. Now, while these UTM parameters may look a little bit confusing, there's actually a free tool that helps you build them. If you literally just go to Google and you type in campaign URL builder, it's from the Google Dev Tools. It's going to be the very first link that you find, and it already has the fields pre-populated right there for you. You just write in information into each of the individual fields, and then it spits out the UTM parameter for you. So cool. Once you have this UTM parameter built, what the heck do you do with it? So you want to grab it and you want to put it inside of your ads at the ad level. So not the campaign level, not the ad set level. You want to put this at the ad level. And it's in a spot that most people don't look at because most people don't use UTM parameters. But when you're editing an ad at the ad level, if you scroll all the way down, there's going to be a field there called URL parameters. That's where you want to put your UTM code. And you only want to put portion that starts where it says UTM equals, right? You don't want to actually include your base URL. So for me, my base URL, right, it's alvarobarrios.com. I wouldn't want to include that part. I just want to include the part that says UTM equals blah, 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 right? And then it has all the information right there. That's the part you want to put into your URL parameters. And it's going to feed the information of, okay, this campaign inside of Facebook, this is the audience I'm using, and this is the ad it's coming from. So that way, when you go inside of Google Analytics, you're gonna have a full and complete picture of what that actually looks like for you, and you're gonna get clean data as opposed to just messy looking data that you'd have to spend a lot of time organizing yourself. All right, cool. So those are the steps, right? You just first go back into your Google Analytics, revive it, make sure it's still there. Then you create your goals, then you create your UTM parameters, and you put those inside of your ads for Facebook. And then you can start going into Google Analytics in order to interpret and read the data as well. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do inside of Google Analytics. I'm not going to cover that today. I might do that in a later video, but just for purposes of interpreting and reading conversion data, what you want to do is on the left-hand side, right, there's certain columns, menu items inside of Google Analytics, such as audience, behavior, but you want to click on the one that says goals, because again, goals in Google Analytics lingo, that's the same thing as a conversion. So you click on goals, and then you can look at all goals, and there will be all your conversion data, and you can compare that side by side to what you're seeing inside of Facebook. And the data inside of Google Analytics at this point in time, at least, is going to be a little bit more complete than what you're seeing inside of Facebook. The results have always been different in terms of what you see inside of Google Analytics and what you see inside of Facebook, even pre-iOS, simply because both platforms interpret attribution differently, right? So there's nothing you can do about it to change that. But at this point in time, the Google Analytics data is probably going to be a little bit more complete than your Facebook data. So if you're doing a 7-day view of your Facebook ads, do that same 7-day view inside of Google Analytics for your campaigns, and I would probably trust the numbers inside of Google Analytics more than I would trust the numbers inside of Facebook ads. Hopefully you found this helpful, because again, we are going to have a few more steps, in our processes in order to understand what is going on with our campaigns, because we will be seeing an incomplete picture inside of Facebook. So again, everything's still going to work just fine. Your campaigns are still going to perform well. You're still going to get good results. It's just that you can't just only look at the data inside of Ads Manager. We have to look at the data in multiple places, and one of the best places to do that moving forward is inside of Google Analytics. So definitely go and revive that account. So if you found this information helpful and you'd like to see if there's a way for you to work with me and my team, as you can see, we leave no stone unturned. Head on over to alvarobarrios.com/FBhelp. There, you're going to fill out a brief form so I can understand a little bit more about your situation. Then we're going to hop on a Zoom call and figure out what the best solution is for you to move forward. I do not have a cookie cutter solution. I have custom solutions based upon your specific needs and goals. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps push this video out to the YouTube algorithm. That way more people just like you can watch this information and benefit from it just like you have. And if you have any other topics you'd like for me to cover, definitely just let me know in the comments below. The most popular and requested topics I get, I turn into videos just like this one. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss any valuable content that I put out on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it.